What qualities do you think are important for a peer supporter? Should certain categories of problems not be addressed using peer support? If so, which categories of problems are viable for peer support? So, qualities for a good peer supporter are empathy, obviously, is a very important one. I think that having an open mind is also very important. I think that you don't necessarily have to agree with everything that the person seeking help says, right? But to be able to be empathetic and to be able to listen and provide that support for that person, regardless of how you feel about what they believe or what they are talking about, is very important. I think active listening is great. It's kind of the foundation of everything that we do as therapists. So I'm not saying that you have to stay neutral or that you should bury your emotions, but being able to put others first is a quality that I would say that a peer supporter needs to have. I would also say that kind of really good observational skills are really important. Being able to observe somebody's communication or somebody's body language is very helpful. I mean, not all peer support has to take place in person, but those things are helpful. There are a lot of other qualities that would be desirable, but at the core of it, somebody who's just open and empathetic and willing to listen and willing to kind of put themselves aside for that moment to give that space for the other person. So certain categories of problems not be addressed by using peer support. I think there are specific problems that that are difficult for peer supporters to handle. Personality disorders are kind of the ones that come up frequently, where it's hard for somebody who's not professionally trained to be able to create good boundaries with people who might be more abusive of that space, like that safe space, kind of taking advantage of that and kind of using it for their own personal needs, as opposed to not to say that that space isn't for them. That space is definitely for them, but there are points in which you can cross the boundary between receiving support and just kind of intruding on someone's life. And I think that those are instances where peer supporters don't always have the training to be able to handle those kinds of situations. And I would definitely recommend more formal professional help for personality disorders and also for a lot of psychotic disorders. I think that those are two of the main instances where I would say that it's more beneficial to have somebody who's trained and somebody who knows how to deal with those specific issues, because I think that they can escalate quickly and they can put people in potentially dangerous situations. And so I think that those are the few that I would say just would benefit more from professional help than in a peer support setting. And other than that, I feel like most categories of mental illness or mental health issues can be addressed to some extent by peer supporters. And that's obviously, it works best in conjunction with therapy or medication, or sometimes, most peer supporters are equipped to deal with suicide. So even as far as like suicidal ideation goes, that might be something that would also kind of fit into the realm or the scope of a peer supporter. So, but sometimes it's just being stressed out at work and you just need to talk to somebody about it, and that's totally fine as well. Peer support can be helpful in all of those situations, but would be better supported by professionals in the cases of personality disorders and psychosis.